Hello and welcome back. Now, I have just finished the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation. This is my Star Trek journey, as you will have seen from the rest of my recent videos. I'm going through most, if not all, of the Star Trek universe, the franchise, each series, all the films. Just really just enjoying it all and taking it all in and learning what I can from an adult perspective. Um, yeah, being such a large gap between watching it as a child and now, seeing it through maybe not fresher eyes, but new eyes anyway. Yeah, so the first season, it's 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 not the beloved season. Put it that way. It's fans of the show say the series gets better as it goes when it finds its feet. It finds the sort of like pace and it wants to go at, the sort of stories it wants to tell and whatnot, and like the more familiar you get with like that world and the characters on board the Enterprise. And so I knew that going in, but I thought, okay, let me judge how much I am intrigued by the series and how much I want to go on. And lo and behold, I really enjoyed it. I think I'm just like really wrapped up in the Star Trek universe as a whole, and like the whole idea and premise of it being a sci-fi show that like it's American, so it gets more money than what it would do in other countries, and they just really go really good and cool places and knowledgeable places like with certain storylines, which I really appreciate. They tell a lot of stories, a lot of like stories that you may not hear in other places, and voices that you won't they won't get a chance to say what they need to say. But yes, so I enjoyed the first season. Characters. So no longer is Captain T. Kirk the captain. It's Jean Luc Picard, um, played by Patrick Stewart. If I'm not wrong, Patrick Stewart. Where like a younger audience would know him from the X Men franchise, or I guess I did originally. Yeah, I mean he's more like stoical and more reserved and like more grumpy than Kirk. Kirk's more upbeat and like always up for a fight. Yeah, Kirk's like ready for a fight, but he's not like a meanie. He's just he just get lays it down, karate chopping and using his legs quite a lot. Kirk uses his legs quite a bit. You'll notice. Um, Picard tries to avoid that. He's more a negotiator. He tries to use his calm presence a lot of the time, even against like the most diabolical of villains that you do see in this season towards the end specifically. Um, my favorite character of season one, the one I'm like just buzzing for and always looking forward to seeing them in a scene, is Geordie. Geordie's like blind, so he has this like visor, this really cool visor that goes around his two eyes, and they connect to like these two red dots on either side of his like cranium. Um, and like we even get episodes where like we explore that, like see how he sees through like the board in like the Enterprise and stuff, and like sometimes you don't even really get that. You don't really get that insight into like these characters that you like to know more of. And I didn't need it necessarily because I'm used to like not getting that with like characters that I'd like to know more of. But like since we got that, it's just like wow, like he's just an intriguing and different character, and he's like so he's selfless and he's really talented at his job. I think he plays the role of perhaps he commands the station that Sulu commanded of navigation. I could be wrong though. But he gets out in the field every chance he gets. Gets quite a bit of screen time in season one. Perhaps not as much as he's one of the ones that gets more screen time. Actually, I think Doctor Crusher. She's the new medical officer. She gets a bit of one of the most parts to play in the first season, along with Picard. Um, Worf is so. What's interesting about the Next Generation is Worf is a Klingon, and so this is 80 years on since like the time frame of the first series. So 80 years, and so like the Romulans haven't been seen. They were like, I'm not sure whether they were in the first series, but they were in one of the films. So the Klingons, anyway, that whole drama and near devastation that the Klingons, that could even be the films as well. Anyway, regardless of the battles and the war that the Klingons were waging with the humans and the rest of the galaxy, Klingons are now on board of the Enterprise and part of Starfleet Command. You know, they're on all the ships. They're integrating into society. They're not trying to kill everyone. There's peace with the Klingons, which is really great to see because it shows evolution. Again, I've said it in previous videos that the Star Trek universe has. You know, so yes, and Worf is very memorable. I'm glad he's a part of the crew, and I can't wait to just have him around. I hope no bad ever comes to him. No, I really like Worf. Worf is a great character and very memorable, and yeah, he's one of my favorites. But Geordie, for some reason, I just think Geordie's a really cool character. Um, Riker is the first. His position is called the first officer, and Picard always refers to him as number one. And I mean that must get to his head, doesn't it? But sometimes, well, often actually, because he's always in the field, he goes on all the away days to explore the planet in front of Picard, while Picard sits on the Enterprise and is the captain of the ship. Very unlike Kirk. Kirk oftentimes would go, but yeah, Riker. I really like Riker as a character actually, and I could see Riker as the captain. You know, if Picard wasn't there, Riker could do the job. But you do notice as the season goes on that he has got his limits, and he's not there yet. You know, he's not wise enough. He still makes like he would still rather fight than do the more negotiation tactics that Picard would do, and it just saves the way Picard goes about it. It saves a lot of drama and potential deaths. You know, Riker still has that rash youthful exuberance in him, which could be his downfall. But yeah, Riker's cool. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, Dr. Crusher, she's like the medical officer who has a son. Will Wheaton of like Stand By Me fame and other things in the 80s and whatnot. He's still around today. Not really sure what he's up to, but he's like known in the sci-fi world and the cult spheres, and maybe done a couple of appearances on Big Bang Theory television series. Anyway, yeah, I never even knew he was on the show, believe it or not, and I'm really happy to see him because yeah, he's like a youth amongst all these adults, and he's like very intelligent, and he's not that big headed. It's just he is intelligent and he can make a contribution, and because he's young, they don't really rate him like that. But yeah, it's cool to see him around. Really cool. There's even like episodes where we get like the Starfleet Academy episode where he's trying to enlist in the academy and graduate and stuff, and actually it's really cool to just get like little insights into like parts of Star Trek that we hear so much about but never see. And obviously that's what 1987 offers us. You know, it's 20 years on from the original series, so Gene Roddenberry and other people have had a lot of time to ruminate on like things that they would have liked to have done on Star Trek, mistakes, things they want to see done in the future, what they can achieve budget wise in the 80s, the late 80s. We get a lot more aliens, which is so cool. Graphics for the Enterprise, flying around space battles, lasers, everything looks better. You know, it's more technically just visually more pleasant and like just bigger budget basically. Just feels more modern. Um, yeah, the Enterprise has changed a bit. To tell you the truth, I prefer the original Enterprise. It took me a very long time. It's only up until now that I've finished the series that I'm used to the newer Enterprise now. I think it was just like the I think it's the blue beams of like energy that go along the two like thrusters. I think they're called thrusters on the two sides of the Enterprise. Have really put me off. And like basically, it's all like the lights and gadgets that are on the outside of the Enterprise. The inside, yeah, it's cool. It's probably even better because like there's more to explore and stuff. Um, but yeah, the outside, the exterior took me the whole season to get used to. But no, I prefer the original Enterprise ship. Yeah, so I'll let you know what my favorite. It's not concrete, but I jotted down like some of my favorite episodes, and this is going off having the first and second episode as one episode. So the way I watched it, it counted as one. It was like a bumper episode. So this could be. You would just have to change what numbers these are if you count the first episode as one and two. Sorry, that confused me more than it confused you. So episode two really liked because like it was like a lot more comedic and light-hearted compared to like the bumper special we got to start this whole generation off. It was really funny, and it like certain characters I weren't too sure about. I was really like they won me over in this episode. Yeah, I like when Star Trek goes a bit silly. Number six, number eight, 18, 19, and 20. And I think I'll have to say the episode 25, the last episode of the finale of Next Generation Season 1. That was pretty cool. Although, see, sometimes, or a lot of the time actually, there's a great premise, but the episode just squanders its runtime, you know? It could be so much better. And it has really good things inside the episode, inside the 45 minutes. But I don't know, it doesn't do enough with its runtime a lot of the times with the episodes. It's like, okay, yeah, you've got a great setup, and the finale is usually pretty good as well, but it's just how do we get there that's really intriguing, and sometimes it doesn't really hit the mark in season one. So I hope that improves. But so that was the case for a few episodes in the original series as well that I felt. I think it's just the journey, how we get to the finale, because great setup. It's just yeah, how we get there is sometimes what I struggle with. Um, but yeah, speaking on that last episode, really cool because they have did I couldn't help but think of Khan and his army because they find like these frozen bodies, these frozen dead bodies in space, like in a spacecraft, of course, not just floating through space. That would be pretty morbid for Star Trek. Even though they had like an episode where they blew someone's head off, a human's head off, which was pretty gnarly, really good to see from Star Trek. But yeah, like they find these frozen bodies and somehow they bring them back to life because they were frozen like upon their death, whatnot, like the minute or second they died. And like obviously these three characters that have been brought back, they are from like the 80s or the 90s, you know, in the Star Trek timeline, so 300 years prior to when the show takes place. So they don't know what's going on, and you know they're fainting when they see Worf and whatnot, and the cliche things that would happen. But I love that sort of stuff, man. Like this sort of meta stuff where it's like we're the audience and like we're those characters that would be waking up in this mind blowing like future, and like you know there's a dude that is just wrapped up in like capitalism and just wanting to succeed and have money. He's like, oh, I can't wait to speak to my bank manager. How much money am I going to get from my investment in this cryogenics company? And they have to break it. Picard breaks it to him like, dude, you know, we're not into the financials like that. We don't have currency anymore because obviously in Star Trek they don't have money. It's a lot kind of a lot to get your head around, but they have like different morals and um, ways of life that they live. That's obviously brought these races of all different planets together. You know, in peace. They have different struggles and different goals in life. You know, scientific breakthroughs and whatnot. Just trying to better ourselves as a species, I suppose, because once you like break into space, yeah, man, we can only imagine that like we're just going to keep progressing and progressing and wanting to learn more and learn from the universe. So yeah, season one, really cool. Can't wait to see more. So yeah, I'm still totally on board. Might take a day's break and then get back onto season two. I can't get enough of it. Yeah, would like to see how Riker evolves as a character, to see if he ever ends up as like captain by the end of it or by the end of the films. I've also seen pictures of him where he's got he looks like when you look at the posters for Star Trek, you see a dude with like a lot of facial hair, moustache, and like then I watch this and I'm like, wait, that's Riker because he doesn't have facial hair in the first season. He looks badass, like he looks cool, and he has all this facial hair in season two, and it's like, whoa, like okay, I'm gonna have to, that's gonna take some time to get used to. But yeah, can't wait to see more of Geordie. Um, oh, and those that don't want to be spoiled by anything, I'm not going to say the name of the character, but I want to allude to a situation. So back out now if you don't want to even be alluded to anything. Yeah, so towards the end of the season, a character dies, and I just thought, wow, like there's now stakes in Star Trek, you know, like main characters, because this person was a main character for tens of episodes. You know, this is the latter half of the season, and they were always on field duty, you know, always out there kicking butt, you know. Being they weren't my favorite character, but they were around. They were a face I could recognize in the series, you know. But no, they weren't my favorite character. Cool actor though. Um, and yeah, this actor wanted to leave because they didn't feel that they were getting enough to do, not enough like substance in their role. And like ironically, like in that episode where they were killed off, um, yeah, they had quite like a bit to do, especially in their like the ending of the episode where they get to like do like some sad voice message to the characters and whatnot. But yeah, so I didn't think like Star Trek would go that deep, so I'm a bit um, you know, trepidatious of where we could be headed with some characters like my boy Geordie and Worf and Riker and whatnot, and young Wesley Crusher, you know, um, where does Wesley Crusher end up anyway? So yeah, Star Trek: The Next Generation season one, really liked it, had its flaws, but yeah, I can still see the magic from the original series, and can't wait to watch more. Thank you.